Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Mariana. If you're new here, then welcome, and if you've been here before, then welcome back. I'm so excited to have you guys here for another video in my Me Made Wardrobe Challenge of 2021 series. Now if you're new, I challenged myself to create one Me Made garment a month for the entire year of 2021. At the end of January, I revealed the finished project for the month, which was this knitted hoodie right here, which I knit using 2 of 1's Clubhouse Raglan hoodie pattern. Aside from that, I also announced the project I intended to take on for February, which was the Kaleidoscope cardigan by the Missing Yarn. February didn't go exactly as planned. A couple of weeks into February,
I started feeling fatigued and anxious and a little bit depressed and was thinking that I was going crazy and was like, why do I feel this way?
So I felt like that for a couple of weeks until my stupid ass realized that I was feeling that way because I had been going outside because it was really bad weather. But because I wasn't going outside, I wasn't getting enough vitamin D. To be honest, this isn't the first time this has happened. I have a history of having pretty low vitamin D, and so when I stop going outside and I forget to start taking vitamin D just to supplement, I tend to get really depressed and anxious and fatigued, and even like my hips get a little bit achy, so yeah.
February was a little bit rough.
I had tons of things that I wanted to film for you guys, a lot of ideas, but because I was depressed, I was useless, wasn't doing anything. But thankfully I realized what was going on and I started taking vitamin D, and I've prioritized now at least going outside every couple of days, so I'm feeling a lot better. But yeah, February didn't go as planned. I didn't get the things that I wanted to get done, but at least I kept crocheting. So yes, I finished the project for this month. So even though February didn't go exactly as planned, at least I was able to check that one thing off of my list. The cardigan is beautiful, but I did have a couple of problems while I was making it. First, I kind of doubted myself because I did a yarn substitution because the pattern calls for a different yarn, and when I looked for it online, they were completely out of the colors that I wanted, and so I substituted a different yarn. And to be honest, while I was working with it, I was doubting myself and thinking, is this too thin? Yeah, that thought crossed my mind while I was making it, because at least when I was finishing the individual pieces, I was like, yeah, this feels really thin and kind of holey, so I don't know if that yarn substitution was a good idea, but I kept making it anyway. And then when I started seeing some of the pieces come together, I was like, okay, I think I get how this is gonna go. But yeah, the biggest problem that I ran into while making the cardigan was joining. Now, when I was approaching this pattern, I read through it a couple of times before I started it and was doing a bunch of research, and I thought I found the method that I wanted to use for joining them. But when it came down to it and I started joining my pieces using that method, I was not liking it. I felt like nothing felt really solid. It was kind of like more like this. There was a lot more space in between where it was getting joined, and I wanted a lot more of a solid joint. So I joined some and then I unjoined them, and it was a lot of work. But I ended up deciding, you know what, I'm gonna try to research again another method. But nothing I was finding really worked for me, and so I ended up joining the granny squares together using a mishmash of 2 methods for joining, which I'm really happy with the way it turned out, but it was tons of more work than I thought. Aside from that, another problem that I ran into was that I am apparently not very good at hiding my ends in granny squares. Yeah, I did not foresee that being a problem. I for sure thought that The main problem would be the joining and just how many ends I would have to hide. Since it's a sort of like an airy granny square and not solid, you can see when I hide them anyway, and they kind of pop out since it's not solid. I mean, that's usually not a problem for me because I usually knit and crochet really solid pieces, but it's been a while since I've crocheted granny squares and I don't do it that often, so hiding ends that that naturally happen when you change colors is not something I'm used to in granny squares. So yeah, I get ends everywhere, but I'm just gonna snip them because you know what? I made it. And while I was changing yarn colors and joining them together, I did make sure to double knot them at least, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they're secure and nothing will start
unraveling.
I would hate that if that happened because that was a month of work, but hopefully everything works out. So enough me talking about the project. It's time to show you guys the finished cardigan. Are you guys ready? Here it is! Ta-da! I mean, I'll show you guys a better view of it in a little bit, but yeah, here it is. I'm so excited to finally show it to somebody. I've kept it sort of quiet around my family because I kind of wanted to have a big reveal. Alright, so hopefully you can see from there. Okay, so here she is. Right there. Boom, 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 boom. I feel super cute in her, and one of the concerns I've just had, because I overthink things, is that when a garment is crocheted, I always felt like it was too airy to be warm. But even though, you know, she's a granny square, she's constructed from granny squares, and obviously there's like, you know, space there, she's actually really warm. Yeah, so so here she is from the back. Small granny squares on the bottom. Modeling is a lot more tiring than it looks, or maybe it's just because I'm so excited, or maybe it's just because I'm out of shape, and yeah, might be that. And with that, the second project in my Me Made Wardrobe Challenge of 2021 is done. Hello February, you are beautiful and I love you. And with that, it's time to announce the project I've chosen to take on for next month. The Eclectic Jumper by The Missing Yarn Again! Yay! I chose the Eclectic Jumper for a couple of different reasons. First of all, as you guys know, this is my first crocheted garment. I've crocheted bags and scarves before, but this is my first garment, and by the end of it, I was really getting into a groove with my crocheting, and so I decided for sure that my next project would be another crocheted garment, just to keep the ball rolling on creating my crocheted garments. Aside from that, the Eclectic Jumper is actually a pattern that I've also been keeping my eye on for a while now. I follow a couple different people here on YouTube and on Instagram who've created their own eclectic jumper, and I've always just loved the look of it. It has all the things I like. It has tons of different colors in it. It's nice and big, so you know, it could go with a couple different outfit ideas that I have in mind for it. Aside from that, all of the Missing Yarn patterns have a difficulty level. This project was labeled as a 2 and the Eclectic Jumper is a 3, so I thought that would be a great fit for my next project, just to step it up a little bit and challenge myself a little bit more. So I've already purchased my yarn. Ta-da! for my eclectic jumper, and I'm so excited to get started on her. There's tons of colors here. There's enough solids in here that I feel like all the colors will go together very well. There's a couple of neutrals that are a little toned down, so I think this will work out great. Aside from that, I'm really excited about starting the eclectic jumper because it changes colors a lot, and it has tons of different stitches involved in it, so I'm sure that'll be really exciting and a little bit challenging to do. I'm really excited to tackle that and to use this yarn right here. I've heard a lot of good things about the Stylecraft Special DK Weight yarn, so I'm excited to start using it and working with it because I feel like this challenge is a great way to start experimenting with different brands of yarn, different materials. So this is another acrylic yarn. This was acrylic. The project from last month was a blend of acrylic and wool, but I'm excited to try a couple of different brands, a couple of different materials, and see what I like to work with and what gives me the best project in the end. And that's the end of this video. I hope you guys liked the kaleidoscope cardigan. I know I do. I'm really excited about her, and I'm excited to start the eclectic jumper and to share a couple of other videos that I have been working on with you all, so I hope you'll stick around for that. Till next time, bye!